So there's that age-old joke about the cliche that film students will have the Pulp Fiction poster somewhere in their bedroom. It's a thing that I was very familiar with when I studied film. I think now it's kind of shifted to a lot of film students having Parasite posters in their bedroom. This is going to be the new film. Kids are going to have posters of the Fabelmans in their bedroom. I can guarantee you that now.
Movies are dreams that you never forget. Sammy?
How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my channel and time for another episode of Luke's Reviews. On today's video, well, awards season is in full swing, and who better to make their presence known than arguably the greatest filmmaker of all time, Steven Spielberg, with what he is saying is his most personal film to date. This is my review for The Fabelmans. Sam Fabelman is obsessed with film and cinema. He's constantly tinkering with whatever new camera he can get his hands on, editing the film and showing it to whoever wants to watch. He has these aspirations to become a filmmaker, but it's not the smoothest run for Sam. His mother, whilst being his biggest advocate, is facing her own struggles, battling mental health issues, as well as a failing relationship with her husband and Sam's dad, who supports Sam and his filmmaking, but only in a hobby capacity. Not to mention his constant new jobs mean regularly moving across America, so thus asks the question, will Sam get his big break? It's no secret that The Fabelmans is directly based around the life of Steven Spielberg. It's an ode to his parents, to his family, and how he fell in love with the art of filmmaking, to the point where he actually, at least in my screening, gave a very short introduction to the movie about it being his most passionate and personal project to date. So here we have a film detailing how, and I don't think many people will argue with me in the next statement when I say how Steven Spielberg, the greatest filmmaker of all time, fell in love with film. And it is absolutely spectacular. I adore The Fabelmans, and I adore it for a multitude of reasons. Firstly, and perhaps most crucially, it is a brilliantly made film. Following on from 2021's West Side Story, Steven Spielberg is just on a high right now, reminding anyone who even slightly doubted him that he is a master of this craft. His attitude towards framing always astounds me. He's paired up with regular cinematographer Janusz Kaminski, and it's the fluidity of the camera that keeps even the smaller, more intimate scenes from ever feeling stagnant. The composition of every shot is pouring with meaning and significance, and that has the ability to turn every single moment into something epic, where the scale and the scope is blown through the roof. And so watching how Spielberg and Kaminski treat the childlike wonder and amazement of going to the cinema for the first time is truly magical. And my final note on the cinematography, and there's absolutely no hyperbole here, it has what I honestly would consider to be the greatest final shot in a film I have seen, God, easily within the past decade, possibly beyond that. It's fantastic. In terms of performances, it's phenomenal across the board. There are two performances in particular that have had a lot of light shone on them. They've had a lot of critical acclaim to the point where they have been nominated for Oscars, and that is Michelle Williams and Judd Hirsch. Williams is heartbreaking in, what must be said, is a bit more of a supporting role, but regardless, she is brilliant here. Initially, I was unsure of her bright-eyed, almost Disney schmaltzy soppy-like performance, but you soon realise that much of this story is told through the eyes of Sam, aka Stephen. And for those earlier moments in the film, Michelle Williams' performance, it makes sense that it is so over the top. It is so animated because that is how Sam, at that young age, would have seen his mum. As for Hirsch, he definitely is as supporting as they come, seeing as he's only really in 2 scenes of the film, but that being said, he's very good because of how key his performance is in regards to the development of Sam. But it is Sam who I want to talk about. Gabriel LaBelle plays the teenage Sam Fabelman, and he is just outstanding here. Endearing, captivating. He is the perfect focal point for this movie, and you feel everything alongside him. And LaBelle has such an engaging screen presence about him too. Also, there are a number of moments where his line delivery is perfect. Like, you could have just swapped him out for a veteran actor, and not even they could have done it any better. Hands down, he's given one of my favourite performances, I think, across this awards scene, and he's not getting anywhere near enough recognition. It's honestly criminal. Other performances include Paul Dano, Seth Rogen, and also one hilariously amazing cameo that comes completely out of the blue, but features in a scene that I guarantee you will not forget. But this ensemble, what they do is they just bolster this film to amazing new heights. That is what an ensemble of this caliber should be doing. An underlying message of this film is taking something that you love and using that passion and inspiration to succeed as much as you can. And I don't necessarily think that that's a message that is specifically to do with film. I think anyone can watch this film and relate to Sam, relate to the situation, to know that passion and imagination and creativity isn't something to be squandered. It is something to be utilized. But for me, the subject matter surrounding his love for film and cinema, well, it honestly, it spoke to me in a very direct way that was deeply touching. Laying my cards on the table right now, there was a time towards the end of 2022 where I thought that it was the appropriate time to hang this YouTube channel up, to kind of bow out. I did more than I ever thought I would be able to do. I never thought I would have 50 subscribers, let alone close to 500. But yeah, it got to a point where I felt like that passion and desire to make these videos, to make these reviews, was slowly slipping away. But I persevered because I thought, well, I have the equipment, I've got to put it to use. And I realized towards the start of this year now that it's nothing to do with making sure I use the equipment. I started this channel because I have a passion for film and because I love talking about film. So what better way to put that to use? And so in that, there is a relation to Sam. I'm not going to say a relation to Steven Spielberg, but for this instance, a relation to the character of Sam that really just lit a fire under me. And so as a result, if a film is able to do that to me, then it is a film I will treasure forever. The Fabelmans, to put it directly, is the film Steven Spielberg was born to direct. His craft has excelled to yet another unimaginable level, providing a heartfelt, bittersweet, and enchanting account of the love he has for his family, and the love he found, developed, and nurtured for cinema. The performances are sublime from all involved, but Gabriel LaBelle really does have the makings of greatness within him. It's such a special movie, and it's worth noting that you don't necessarily have to be a film buff to be able to relate to anything that happens. I'm just saying that this particular film buff definitely did. Final note, I just want to say, make sure you keep your eyes peeled throughout the movie, as I think that there are a couple of nods and winks to projects that Steven Spielberg has either directed or been involved with, sprinkled in throughout the film. References like E.T., Indiana Jones, and even Back to the Future. So I'm going to give The Fabelmans a 9.5 out of 10. Anyway guys, those are my thoughts on The Fabelmans. Let me know, have you had the chance to see the film yet? What did you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And my question to you, it's the mother of all questions, but with the film being about Steven Spielberg, it would seem inopportune for me to not ask this. What is your favorite Steven Spielberg movie? I was briefly in the process of trying to binge all of Steven Spielberg's films, but I realized that is quite the task. I'm still gradually making my way through it. It's become less of a binge and more of a very gradual expedition. But I may do a video on what I think is the greatest Steven Spielberg movie. So I'm not going to show my hand just yet, but I am interested to know, what do you think? But that is all we have time for here today. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hello, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, make sure to click that like button, and if you aren't already, click that subscribe button too.